What's going on, guys? It's JaxTown here, and welcome back to another video. Now, the NFL playoffs start tomorrow. Super pumped about it. But what would be the playoffs without some great predictions? So I got my 2020 NFL playoff bracket here, and we're just gonna fill it out as we go. These are just my opinions, obviously, but we're gonna see who I think is gonna win the Super Bowl. So let's start off with all right, let's start off with the AFC, okay? So number 4, Houston, number 5, Buffalo. Now, this is a really good game. It's the first game of the playoffs. It's tomorrow at 1:35. I think, it's a really close game, but I'm going to have to go with Buffalo because I honestly think they're better coached and their defense doesn't prevent big plays, and they're going to keep the Texans' offense in check. So they're going to move on, all right? New England, Tennessee. Now, this is the game I'm actually looking forward to the most because I kind of just want to see New England's dynasty end. But, yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Tennessee, their run game, they're coming in hot. I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over them. And New England's just not playing well right now. Losing to Miami was a huge loss. They really don't want to play in the wild card game. They really wanted a bye, but they didn't get it. So they're going to lose to Tennessee, in my opinion. And even if they happen to win, they would lose to Kansas City next week anyways. But I think Tennessee will put them out of their misery tomorrow. Okay, so now we're going to go to the NFC, sorry. And in the NFC, Philadelphia, Seattle. Now, this is maybe the biggest toss-up game because I really don't know, because if it comes down to a matchup of quarterbacks, I think Russell Wilson's the better quarterback over Carson Wentz. Obviously, I think they're both great quarterbacks. But it's really close. But I trust Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll on the road. I think Seattle's experienced. They know how to win. And it's a really close game, but I think they're going to pull it off. Then New Orleans, Minnesota. This is the game I'm most confident in the first weekend. And I say New Orleans is going to win. They're just too good offensively. And in the Superdome, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to go on the road and win it. Okay, now, divisional round. In the AFC, we have first game, Tennessee versus Baltimore, the 1 versus 6. Now, I think Tennessee is underrated, and I think they're going to put up a good fight. But I think in Baltimore, the Ravens are just too good. They're going to run wild on them because they're not good enough to stop the run. So I'm going to say Baltimore wins and moves on to the AFC Championship. Kansas City, Buffalo. This is another really good game. I think Buffalo's defense is going to be able to stop Kansas City a little bit, but not fully. And their offense isn't going to be good enough to go into Arrowhead and outplay Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Josh Allen and his arsenal have enough firepower for that yet. So I'm going to say Kansas City moves on to the AFC Championship game. All right, NFC, Seattle, San Francisco. Now, okay, San Francisco I think looks like the better team, but I think they're still really young, and I don't know what version of Jimmy Garoppolo we're going to see. I think he's really good, but I think since it's their first year in the playoffs for a while, I think Seattle's experience is going to be able to get revenge for that last regular season game in which they lost by an inch. So this is a bold prediction and a surprise. I think Seattle wins in San Francisco to move on to the NFC Championship. Now, New Orleans, Green Bay, this is maybe the best game so far in the playoffs. I think if it was in New Orleans, I would easily pick New Orleans, but it's in Green Bay. I don't know how well New Orleans is going to play in Lambeau's conditions, but I still think New Orleans is the better team. I think Aaron Rodgers has declined a little bit, so I think Drew Brees is on a mission. They go into Lambeau, and they win. Okay, so our AFC Championship game is going to be Baltimore, Kansas City, and our NFC Championship game is going to be Seattle and New Orleans. Now, at the AFC, I mean, this game is unbelievable. Ravens and Chiefs, I think the two best quarterbacks in football right now. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be exciting. But I think Patrick Mahomes is a little bit has a little more experience, and he's on a mission. And I think they're going to go in and win. The Chiefs are by a narrow margin. And Lamar Jackson's MVP season comes to an end right there. Kansas City represents the AFC in the Super Bowl. Now, I think New Orleans and Seattle, I think because the game is now in New Orleans, because Seattle is a lower seed after beating San Francisco, I think New Orleans wins that game, and it's going to be a great battle, but Russell Wilson falls just short to Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and the gang. And our Super Bowl, Kansas City and New Orleans, this is a great Super Bowl. It's going to be so high scoring. I think 2 of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks right now in Patrick Mahomes versus Drew Brees. And I think because Kansas City is just a little bit more dynamic on big plays, and I don't think New Orleans secondary is going to be able to handle their receivers and their tight end, and Travis Kelce, who's just going to be a big impact in the game. So I think by the narrowest margin in a great classic Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs take home the Lombardi Trophy. So we'll see what happens. But these are my picks. Of course, it's just my opinion. Doesn't mean they're the greatest picks. Doesn't mean they're going to be guaranteed correct. But I believe this is what I believe is going to happen, in my opinion. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more great videos in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.